All right. I don't know what to call this subject, but whenever I think of things that I feel are spiritually cool, and I have the time to make a video, then that's what I do. So today, or this morning, which is October 21st, I believe, 2019. Anyways, couple concepts. I probably ought to make two videos out of this, but I'll try to do it in one. So here's a cool concept. I'm a retired firefighter. And so I spent over 25 years as a professional firefighter. And one of the things we engaged in as a community service type thing, and we did this on duty. We'd take the fire engine. We had a three-man crew at this particular time. I shouldn't say three-man. Sometimes there was women on the team. But we would drive to a grade school. And these were, I don't know, probably third graders, fourth graders, somewhere in there. And initially, I did not like doing this. I thought it was a waste of my time. What we would do is we would read storybooks to the particular children. And so if we would go into a class, and let's say this teacher had, I don't know, let's say 25 students or so, we would break up the 25 students into approximately a third, and the captain would read to one group, and the engineer would read to another group, and I, as the firefighter, would read to another group. And these were, for the most part, the most disadvantaged students in the school. They had the greatest difficulty reading, etc., etc. Now, the teacher was a professional teacher, obviously. This was up in Oregon, and they require very high quality standards for teachers up in Oregon. Like, I believe you have to have a master's degree. So anyways, these were very highly qualified teachers, and yet these students were not performing well at all. Now, for the most part, maybe they had disabilities for this, that, or whatever. They came from poor households that didn't promote teaching or whatever. They couldn't read. They were not performing well. And those were the students that we would read to. As I said initially, I just was negative about this sort of thing. I just felt it would be a better use of my time to do something else. But I went along with it. And we did this for, several years. But starting in the second year, even though I was negative about this, starting in the second year, I recognized, not only did I recognize, but the teacher acknowledged, the students had improved one heck of a lot during that year. Now, we would show up once a month to read to the students. Maybe it was more often than that. But since there's 3 different shifts at the fire department, that would be 3 to 4 times a month. And like I said, maybe it was more often than that. But so these students made great improvements in their reading skills and in their comprehension skills. And since we did this for many years, the students, this is like 4 years later, so to them it's a lifetime that they recognize their enjoyable opportunity to have the firefighters read to them. And we carried them through grades, basically. Now here's the interesting thing. I have dyslexia. I was not able to really read a full book until I was graduated from high school, and maybe my ingenuity got me through high school or whatever the case may be, but I had a difficult time reading. So definitely I was not qualified as a teacher. But the students could learn from me reading to them, but not from the professional teacher. And why is that? Why is that? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the students were awestruck with the firefighter. They would see this great big shiny fire engine show up at the school, and we'd get off, and they would see our turnouts and the fire hoses, and I mean, like we were heroes to them. And so they listened. They really paid attention. That wasn't me. That was the child. The child decided to pay attention to me. I was unqualified as compared to the teacher, but yet I was able to teach them. And they developed leaps and bounds better than what they would have without us teaching them. You see where I'm going with this? It's not the teacher, it's the student. So you can learn from anyone if you allow yourself to. If you really, I mean, even an unenlightened teacher will teach you so much that it is unimaginable if you actually paid attention and listened. Because you are never alone. You always, if you have the right attitude, you always have a connection to the Almighty. You always have this connection to your source. And your source, or your connection to the source of the Almighty or the Absolute or God or whatever you want to call this, is the end-all be-all of intelligence. And you always have this connection, no matter who you are. So it doesn't require an enlightened teacher to teach you about enlightenment. It only requires that you make that connection to the source. And you can do that with an unenlightened teacher. It is said that Jesus said, whenever two or more are gathered in my name, I am there. I am, I am. So we always hear about God as the great I am. Well, who are you? I am. Whenever two or more are in my name gathered, I am there. I am, I am. See that connection? So it could be you and I listening right now. And we're both listening, and we're both communicating, even though through video. And yet, if you're listening with the proper spirit, you have that connection to the great I am. So that's one of the important things I wanted to touch upon. The other thing I wanted to touch upon is, I hope this video doesn't go too long, because honestly, I don't make notes. I don't do anything. I just fly off the cuff. And the reason I do this is because I don't care. I have no followers. I mean, honestly, it's morning time. I've got my work clothes on. I'm getting ready to go down the street. My neighbor wants me to help him lay tile today. And I'm a professional grade craftsman. I have been an artist and a craftsman my entire life, as well as a firefighter. Anyways, be that as it may, I'm going to go help my neighbor today, lay tile in his shower. So, but here's this is the difficult concept I wanted to bring out. And this is like the other part that I should make another video of. People keep trying to teach you what you are, or what is the essence of you. And they go, well, I'm not this body, and I'm not this, and I'm not that. And then other times they go, well, I am, there's only the now. And, you know, I mean, because of my disability of dyslexia, and I'll tell you what, just to explain to people that don't know what that is, dyslexia means, for me, reading, writing, words, they're incredibly difficult for someone like me. That's why I'm a craftsman. Everything I deal with is in picture form. I have to picture things, and the written language and all that kind of stuff doesn't work very well for me. And as such, I do not memorize scriptures. I am not a great scriptorian and all that kind of stuff. I know them, but I don't recall them as normal people do. So everything to me is pictures. So I know I'm going off on tangents, but it's like I am like diesel fuel. You can't put diesel fuel in a car. So whatever kind of person you are, if you kind of can relate to me, then great, I'll be able to teach you. But if you are a gas running vehicle and I'm offering diesel fuel, I'm not your cup of tea. I'm not the teacher for you. I'm only the teacher for people that can work that way. So here's the thing. God is everything. And what that means is everything. This body, mind, I've talked about these things. Everything is God. So what are you? Now, of course, many of the gurus who are lost, they don't know they're lost. They think they're lost. They think they know what they're talking about. They devolve to the non-duality reality of I am God, because since everything is God, therefore I must be God, which is absolutely idiotic, but be that as it may. So everything is God. So that being the case, what is it that you are? So there's an interesting thought. So if I take a super powerful telescope, the Hubble telescope, or a telescope right here, and I look out, I'm able to see things that I would not normally be able to see. I'm able to experience things that I would not be able to normally experience with a telescope. Does that make sense? Okay, now let's take a hearing device. And you can't hear this thing that's 2 miles away, but you put on this powerful hearing device and now you're able to hear things that are a mile away. Or how about a device that, what do they call it? Anyways, it detects heat, and it's like a camera that detects heat waves and stuff like that. So you can see a body in complete darkness because the body radiates heat. Well, your own eyes can't see that, but with this device, you can see that. And so again, getting back to it, are you jumping on the bandwagon and going, well, I'm the universe because now I can see it with the telescope, or I'm that sound way over there because I can hear that. But when I can't hear that, then I'm not that. I put on these glasses that I can see X-ray vision. Now I am X-ray vision. And then I take the X-ray vision off, and now I'm not X-ray vision. Now let's take it back. Do you understand where I'm going with this? Oh, I'm a body now because I can smell things, I can see things, I can touch things. I am a body. You see where I'm going with this? So now you drop it back another stage and it just go, whoa, okay, I'm not the universe, I'm not the X-ray vision, I'm not the sound a mile away. Boom, I'm not this, and I am nothing that this detects. Let's drop it back another way. So then we have to go into assumption now, because you're going to have to, if I was your guru, I would be like the firefighter I just explained to you. In other words, you would believe me because I would be your hero, and you would have trust and faith in me because as a child, you have trust and faith in firefighters. But I'm not your guru. But if I was your guru, you would have faith and trust in me, and then you would be able to jump back from this physical body and trust me when I say the next stage is the spirit. And so, excuse me. So then I would say, but you're not the spirit, because the spirit is just another, it's like a physical body, but it isn't physical. It's a different thing. And God created that too, because that's something. Even though it's not in this physical realm, it is something. But you're not that either. And that has the ability to go from body to body in reincarnations and stuff. So then you drop back from the spiritual body. And you drop back another stage. What is that? You eventually get back to essence. What is essence? Well, essence is no thing. You've probably heard gurus talk about I am no thing, you are no thing, etc., etc. What this means is, there is the awareness of God creates this reality. And this reality is created out of the awareness of God. Which means no thing exists in reality. There are no atoms, there are no light, there's no darkness, there's nothing. The awareness of God created this out of nothing. So the essence of what you are drops back to nothing. Nothing. That is what you really, really are. The beginning stages of everything is nothing. You drop back. Now, from a typical point of view of a human being, when you get to the stage of understanding, and I'll tell you in a nutshell what that understanding is actually what Buddha referred to as enlightenment. When you experience reality as no thing, as it doesn't exist, at least it doesn't exist in the format that we assume it to exist. It does exist, but only in a dream format. And the dream format is God, not you. You did not create this. What you create as a no thing is your own thoughts and your own desires. And what are those? Those are your propensity to choose one thing or another. That is what you are. But we can't put a finger on that. There is no way to identify what that is, which is why God created this reality. Because you keep choosing, and everything you choose to accept as valid and valuable to you helps define what you are. Because there is no way to define no thing. Does that make sense? So the no thing defines itself. And so after eons and eons and eons of choosing, the no thing defines exactly what it is. So it could be construed, if you're thinking about these things from an unenlightened point of view, it could be construed that the realm of no thing might be a dark and dreary place. I mean, because nothing exists and you're just an awareness floating around in nothingness. But if this can be created from just thinking it into existence, then clearly from the realm of no thing, anything that you can think of that is awesome and joyous is what will exist, because you have the ability to create anything out of nothing. And so when it's all said and done, and let's say you are, like Jesus said, I and the Father are one, if you become one with God, then together you create the same thing, the same reality. So to say you're a physical body, or to even think the physical body is the end-all be-all and it's awful and it's super cool, well, maybe that's true. I don't know. But regardless, if there is something better, you will be that. Since you are one with God, no matter what is the best, you could think of palaces and whatever it is that you're beyond your comprehension can think is cool and awesome. That is what you will be. And if you're a devil, you will create a realm of devilness. Unfortunately, there'll be no victims because nobody wants to be a victim. Even a devil doesn't want to be a victim. So if you decide to be a devil, your victims will be your own imaginated reality beings that are being victimized by you. But there are no victims to be victimized. In reality, when Judgment Day comes, so to say, and I say this stuff loosely because, but if you are one with God, then God is defined as the epitome of love. And so, in the realm of the epitome of love, no matter what your imagination is, that's what reality will be. Because there is no such thing as reality other than what you create into existence. So, to boil it down, there is no such thing as time. There is no such thing as space. There is no such thing as universes or realms or different dimensions or spirits or nothing exists other than what you create. This is the creation of God. You didn't create it. I didn't create it. Certain things I did form, like some of my furniture downstairs I built. Things that I weld, I do that, but I do that with the materials that God provided. I did not create the ore in the mountains that was smelted and stuff. I just utilized the tools that somebody else fabricated, and I do what I do. So we're able to interact with this reality that God creates. And we are actually able to create things out of nothing. For instance, you might hate someone. Now, this someone that you hate might very well be completely innocent of what you think they have done or committed against you. They might be totally innocent. And you create this hate for them out of nothing. You created that out of nothing. Now, it could be said you create that out of ignorance. But ignorance is the absence of truth. So on the opposite side, you can create love out of nothing also. So in a situation where, again, a person might justifiably be a hateful person, and they may not like you, but you can create love out of nothing. You can love that person, and they react in a hateful manner, and you still love them, and quite possibly they will detect that and eventually love you too. You just created love out of nothing. They in turn create love out of nothing. And that's the whole process of God, to help you create love out of nothing. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed it.